Hello, this is my commentary for my Mailman and Cerberus game. In this game, you play as a mailman trying to deliver the mail as a giant Cerberus chases you down. Your goal is to try to deliver as much mail as you can before you get killed. This game is based around the aesthetics of trying to evade a dangerous monster. When the player spawns into the world, they will have 5 items in their inventory that they can access by using the number pads. The first 4 are letters, and the last is a treat. Each of the letters has its own unique address with a number, a street name, and a region. There are 4 regions in the map. The blue region, which is seen over there, the white region, which is the one I'm standing in, the red region, which is the one behind me, and the yellow region, which is in that direction. Each of the houses also have their own corresponding address that can partially be seen through the number plate, reading out the number, the color, which represents the region, and the street, which is partially seen by reading the street signs throughout the map. So this house would be 21 Minotaur Street in the white region. And if I were to try to deliver a letter to this house while holding the wrong envelope, nothing will happen, nothing will change. But say I deliver to the correct house, say this is 22 Persephone Street in the white region. This is 24, this is 22. If I deliver this delivery will be successful. The score in the top left corner will go up by 1. And if I delivered a letter from one of the first 4 inventory slots, then I will receive a new letter that is a random address that is present somewhere throughout the map. So this would go to the house with the number plate 13 on Hades Street in the blue region. The player is also able to move around at a base walking speed by using WASD. However, they're also able to sprint by holding down a button for sprinting. They only have a limited amount of sprint, so it only lasts at most for that long. While the sprint is recharging, the player cannot sprint anymore. This is used so that the player has a way to gain ground from Cerberus, but not so much that they gain too much ground. The map, there's a mini-map of the map that can be seen in the top right corner. This is here to make it so that the player has a bit of a clearer idea of what's in their surroundings, so if it might be a bit clearer to look at the minimap to get a sense of where numbers are, if they're far away or difficult to read. And also the street names will be present on the minimap, so the player can use that instead of going up to a street sign to read the street names. Additionally, if the player presses M, this will pull up a full version of the minimap so that the player can plan out routes and get to know the map as they are delivering letters. Cerberus will be trying to chase the player as the player is trying to deliver the mail. The player's base walking speed is slower than Cerberus's moving speed. However, the player's sprinting speed is faster than Cerberus's walking speed. Together, the two kind of cancel out, so it's the player moves almost as fast as Cerberus. However, if the player has any missed inputs, then Cerberus will catch up. However, the player can get some more ground by moving between houses as one way, and the player can't just be constantly running from Cerberus. If they want to improve their score, they have to make deliveries, so that'll also slow the player down. However, one way to gain ground between the player and Cerberus is by using treats. So the player can place a treat on the ground, and then Cerberus will follow that instead of the player. And if placed tactically, not like I just did, but if placed more tactically, then that can divert Cerberus away from the player so that they can gain ground and make more deliveries. Okay, now to see a lot of these systems in action. So the first house that I am going to have to go to will be 13 Hades Street. I'm going to go in between these houses to be able to get to this house easier, faster. Because I've been playing the game and designing the game a lot, I know I am more familiar with the addresses. And actually, given that Cerberus cannot reach me right now, I'd like to point out one of the features that I added. There's a bit of a red overlay around vignette around the borders that gets more intense the closer Cerberus is. This is a subtle way to tell the player that Cerberus is getting close by and that they need to react. So the next house that I'm trying to go to is 29 Daedalus Street. This is Daedalus Street right here, and this is house 29 in the yellow zone. Cerberus is getting pretty close, but if I were to sprint right here and hide between these houses, he won't be able to reach me. The next house I'll be going to, I'm gonna say 8 Jacobson Street. I don't know why the letter is pixelated here, but maybe some kind of error there. That's 6. This is 8. And there's Cerberus. There's also 2 red ones, 17 Minotaur and 23 Icarus. So 17 Minotaur is right close by. It'll be this house here. And 23 Icarus. This one's 9 Jacobson, so I'll go over here. And Cerberus, there's the indication in play. As I saw the red vignette, I needed to duck away between these houses. 22 Persephone Street should be right there. Sometimes with the AI pathing, Cerberus gets a little bit stuck on corners, unfortunately. I'm not entirely sure how to fix this bug. If anyone knows how to fix this bug who's worked with AI in the past, then I would very much appreciate the feedback. Okay, so here's a good place to use the treats. I'm in a bit of a dead end here, so I can place one down and run past as Cerberus paths to the treat instead of the player, but he's right on my tail. So I definitely want to get between these houses as soon as I can. That one was quite close. So I think the next one I'll go to is this, since it's across the map, and by going between these houses I can gain a bit of ground. Not too much ground though. The Cerberus was right around the corner. And if I go back to the yellow area, wait, actually there's one over here, that I can use as an example. As you can see, that mailbox is glowing much brighter than the other ones, and a bit more difficult to see because that is red. The flag is up, so if I were to go over here and open this mailbox, well, this time it gave me a letter, and I also have a letter to deliver here, but it's a 80% chance to give the player another letter. 80% chance for the player to receive a treat, and 20% chance for the player to receive another letter. These mailboxes will be glowing as the player continues to play the game, and this is the way that a player can get more treats as the game progresses. However, they can't just fill their inventory with treats, partially because letters may occupy those spaces, and then the player has an incentive to get rid of those letters in the 5 through 9 slots. The 1 through 4 slots will always be letters that get replaced so that the game can continue. And as you can see, during this play session, I delivered 9 letters, and this score will be reset when I press try again. It'll reset back to 0, as you can see in the top left corner. And just like that, the player is in a new play session, so they can work out more strategies to play in this game. I have a bit more of an advantage than a new time player would, given that I designed the map, so I generally have memorized where each of the regions are, so I don't really have to check street signs as much or the map as much. But in a normal play session, then the players will be slowed down a bit by checking these street signs and refamiliarizing themselves with that. They might end up spending more time between houses, just studying the map to see where they need to go next. This does slow down gameplay a bit, however, this does make it fair for the player. And I think that fairness in terms of navigation is more valuable here than necessarily keeping up the pace. However, I think that could be a bit debatable. It's just one of the things I was weighing in designing this. I may end up removing this feature later on if it proves to make the game less fun. And I'm gonna go back here again. The player also, you may have noticed, but the player spawns in with the same 4 letters each time. This is partially to have the 4 different regions available to the player, so when they play for the first time, they understand where each of the regions are and can get accustomed to the map, and they also have a treat so that they learn how to use that treat to their advantage. See, that time from that mailbox I got a treat. Uh, the first 2 times were quite unlucky for me as the player. Also, as you can see, if you just drop the treat when you're right next to Cerberus, it doesn't really do much because he'll reach the treat and then just go straight for you again. So what I found is, especially with those dead ends, it seems like the best strategy is to go all the way to the end of the dead end, place down the treat, and then run around Cerberus as he just passes the treat. It's a good way for handling those dead ends as you're playing. That is it for my commentary on my Mailman and Cerberus game. Feel free to let me know if you have any feedback or questions. They would be much appreciated. But for now, that's it, and thank you for watching.